As you can imagine, deep-sea divers often capture new and exciting things in the ocean. Sometimes, the things they find are so unbelievable that people can't believe they're real. With that in mind, here are 15 times deep-sea divers captured things no one was supposed to see. Number 15. Ancient sharks. For whatever reason, humans have a weird fascination with sharks. There are entire weeks on TV dedicated to those creatures. What remains a mystery is one thing that will always remain accurate. The mysteries and terror surrounding them will be ever present in humans. The Greenland shark may look dull-witted rather than ferocious, but it still serves as a force of nature not to be reckoned with. With their soft fins utilized for slow swimming in the cold Arctic waters and their blunt snouts atop a gaping mouth, they look much different from many sharks. Experts have observed the Greenland shark to be the preferred host to a worm-like parasite that dangles from their eyeballs. These visible parasites flow through the water off the shark like hair flowing. When it comes to a meal, they'll devour pretty much anything they can sink their teeth into. This ancient creature is one of the oldest known species. You can often find them wolfing down halibut just as well as rotting carcasses on the bottom of the ocean. All in all, this shark is nasty enough to allow parasites to hang from its eyeballs and eat rotten food. Today, Greenland sharks are mostly ignored by other creatures in the scientific community. In fact, experts have referenced catching one today as being as welcomed as stepping in dog poop. What is today's garbage was the gold of yesterday, and the Greenland shark was once widely hunted for their liver oil. The decline in whale species saw more of the Greenland shark hunted instead. This shark is as gross as some of the nastiest bottom feeders in the ocean and stands among the world's most giant sharks. Number 14. Terrifying whale. With a year-round temperature of 68 degrees Fahrenheit, Jacob's Well is a popular swim spot that all Texans love to visit and cool off. Too bad this also makes it one of the most dangerous. It's often crowded despite its relatively small entry to the swimming hole. Unfortunately, it's also a popular spelunking location, leaving many just wanting to dip their feet into its cooling water fighting for space. It's easy to see how the swimming location got its name with just a 13-foot wide opening with a treacherous chasm so round and smooth that it's often mistaken as something human-made. Thanks to overwhelming evidence of its dangers from past incidents, most people just sit atop the well, dipping their legs and feet into its cooling waters. Others could find this hole much more perilous. A careless diver could quickly get turned around and stuck in this well, as many dead-end tunnels exist. Only the most daring and adventurous divers, maybe even a little insane, will attempt to navigate the pitch-black depths of the tunnels below. According to reports, 9 people have died in Jacob's Well, and all of them were trained divers with many hours under their belt. Because of this, the state has been forced to close it to the public more than once, but that doesn't stop anyone from going. Number 13. Huge treasure haul. A US-based deep-sea exploration company recently recovered a whopping 48 tons of silver from a sunken British cargo ship. Downed by a torpedo during World War II, the SS Jersopa was catastrophically hit by a torpedo from a German U-boat around 300 miles off Ireland's coast in 1941. For years, it sat undisturbed at an incredible 15,420 feet deep. The salvage firm responsible for the recovery said it's the heaviest and deepest recovery of precious metals from a shipwreck ever made, and was well worth the challenge after all is said and done. The salvage company will keep 80% of the worth of silver. Number 12. Underwater Garden. Nemo's Garden is being held as one of the world's most unique underwater research projects in decades. The project was founded by the director of Ocean Reef, a company at the forefront of underwater technology that made itself known for developing full-face masks and underwater communication systems. Nemo's Garden started with an idea. Would it be possible to grow terrestrial plants underwater? Growing plants in the marine environment on paper works relatively well. There's a near-constant temperature, the environment is protected from crop-destroying pests, and space, for the time being, is nearly limitless. The project uses specially designed biospheres, which are air-filled domes anchored to the seafloor, to house the plants. These biospheres create a controlled environment where plants can thrive, using the natural humidity and CO2 levels of the underwater world to their advantage. Sunlight filters through the water, providing the energy needed for photosynthesis, while the seawater outside helps regulate the temperature inside the domes. Crops like basil, lettuce, and strawberries have already been successfully grown, proving that the concept is not only viable but also scalable. The team is also exploring how this method could reduce the environmental impact of traditional farming, as it requires no pesticides and uses significantly less freshwater. Additionally, the underwater farms could help combat rising sea levels by utilizing areas that would otherwise be uninhabitable for agriculture. The project has drawn attention from scientists, environmentalists, and even chefs who are excited about the potential for fresh, sustainably grown produce. Nemo's Garden is not just a scientific experiment, It's a glimpse into a future where humanity learns to coexist with the ocean in innovative ways. In fact, aside from saltwater, it's a perfect place to grow plants and eventually complete fields of crops. The team aims to create a substitute system of agriculture that can be implemented in areas where traditional land agriculture is impossible or will eventually become so. Harsh climates near oceans could thrive with life once more. Number 11. Do not enter. There are some places that all divers know are the most dangerous of all. However, that doesn't mean any of them stop diving into their complex tunnels. Florida's famous Ginny Springs is one of the most hazardous, and all divers know it. Just before entering the complex tangle of tunnels filled with water, a sign greets each diver with the image of the Grim Reaper and an equally dire message. It reads that many have passed, and going any further beyond that sign leaves the state free from backlash. This is the point of no return for many and still stands as one of the most popular diving spots on Earth. The labyrinth of underwater caves stretches for miles, with narrow passages and sudden drop-offs that can disorient even the most experienced divers. Visibility can change in an instant, as silt stirred up by a diver's movements can cloud the water and make navigation nearly impossible. Many divers rely on guide ropes and markers to find their way, but even these can be difficult to follow in the maze-like tunnels. The caves are also home to strong currents that can pull divers off course, adding another layer of danger to the already treacherous environment. Despite the risks, Ginny Springs attracts thrill-seekers and cave diving enthusiasts from around the world, drawn by the challenge and the beauty of the underwater formations. The crystal-clear water and stunning limestone structures make it a breathtaking but deadly destination. Rescue teams have often been called to recover divers who underestimated the dangers, and their stories serve as a sobering reminder of the risks involved. For those who venture into Ginny Springs, preparation, training, and respect for the environment are absolutely essential. For the average adrenaline junkie out there, this is not for you. This diving area is not for the faint of heart at all and requires excellent diving and navigational skills. Remember, as you sink deeper into the ocean, the pressure will begin to affect the mind in ways never before altered. Just because you think you know your way back doesn't mean you'll be able to remember when it comes time to leave. Number 10. Saturation diving. It's considered one of the world's most hazardous jobs, and they love every second of it. Despite its dangers, it's one of the least known, most dangerous, and weirdest professions on the planet. Called saturation divers, their job is basically that of a construction worker, except underwater, sometimes in the extremes of 1,000 feet deep. Can you imagine the pressures one would have to work in, both literally and figuratively? As we all know, pressure grows as you get deeper into the ocean and requires special training to be handled. If improperly handled, the pressure, or even the return to the surface too fast, could kill you in an agonizing but quick way. Diving to such depths, really any depths, involves breathing pressurized air. This air has inert gases in it, like nitrogen, intended to dissolve benignly into your blood and tissues to keep a safe pressure level in the body. That's so long as the weight of all the water on top of the divers keeps them compressed. This allows them to handle the deep pressures, but on return to the surface, it could mean death. A diver must slowly rise and re-equalize their pressure. Divers have been known to take hours upon hours to readjust. That pressurized gas needs time to diffuse out slowly, or it will all come out at once, which, as you might imagine, would be painful. A diver who shoots straight to the surface, the gas would form bubbles inside the body like a shaken carbonated can. Inside would be millions of tiny explosives detonating. This process is known to divers as the bends, or, more scientifically speaking, decompression sickness. The incident could be painful and debilitating and, depending on the depth, nearly impossible to survive. For example, diving to 250 feet for an hour would require a 5-hour ascent to avoid the issue. Now it's time for today's topic. In a chilling discovery, a deep-sea diver unknowingly captured footage of a massive, unidentified creature lurking in the depths of the Pacific Ocean. The diver, who was exploring a trench over 550 feet below the surface, was adjusting his camera focus to capture the surrounding marine life. Unbeknownst to him, his camera recorded something extraordinary swimming in the distance. It wasn't until he returned home and reviewed the footage that he noticed the shadowy figure. The creature, estimated to be over 50 feet long, had a reptilian-like head with sharp, jagged features and a body that moved with a slow, deliberate grace. Its silhouette was barely visible in the dim light, but its sheer size and shape were unmistakable. Marine biologists who have analyzed the footage are baffled. Some speculate it could be a previously undiscovered species of deep-sea predator, while others suggest it might be a relic from prehistoric times, similar to the long-extinct Mosasaurus. The diver, shaken by the discovery, has vowed to return to the site for further exploration. For now, the creature remains a mystery, leaving the world to wonder what other giants might be hiding in the uncharted depths of our oceans. Number 9. the place you can touch two continents. The great severing of the continent Pangaea left us with the world and landscapes you know and love today. These continents are actually categorized based on their location atop a piece of Pangaea. Today, we call those pieces tectonic plates. Atop one tectonic plate exists a continent. Atop another plate, another continent. If you're a diver, you get to see these plates on an otherworldly level. With that in mind, the Silfur Fissure in Iceland is a hot spot for snorkeling and diving because the ravine is between two tectonic plates. The water in the fissure is some of the clearest in the world, with visibility reaching over 100 meters, thanks to the glacial meltwater that has been filtered through volcanic rock for decades. Divers often describe the experience as surreal, as they float between two massive walls of rock that represent the literal divide between continents. The fissure is also incredibly cold, with water temperatures hovering between 2 degrees Celsius and 4 degrees Celsius year-round, requiring divers to wear dry suits to stay warm. Despite the chill, the vibrant shades of blue and green in the water create a breathtaking underwater landscape. The Silfur Fissure is one of the few places on Earth where you can touch two tectonic plates at the same time, making it a bucket list destination for adventurers and geology enthusiasts alike. The slow movement of the plates has created cracks and caves within the fissure, adding to its allure and making it a favorite spot for underwater exploration. This unique geological feature is a reminder of the immense forces shaping our planet, forces that continue to mold the Earth's surface even today. The North American and Eurasian tectonic plates have been slowly moving apart at a rate of about 2 centimeters a year. That may not seem like a lot, but when you consider the pure mass of these continents, you genuinely get the sense that nothing on Earth is permanent. Everything is changing, and if we fail to do the same, history will repeat itself, as it always has with those that fail to adapt. Number 8. Deep Sea Cemetery. Ancient-looking columns guarded by stone lions are how you're greeted when you enter through the entryway to a lost city that can be found 40 feet below the surface of the water. Complete with stone roads, rising gates, and crumbling ruins, this modern-day cemetery took the aesthetic of the ancients, but with a modern-day philosophy, helping the ocean. Initially named the Atlantis Memorial Reef, the so-called Lost City is actually part of a cemetery that doubles as an artificial reef. The project was sponsored by a cremation company named the Neptune Society. You can find it about 3 miles off the coast of Key Biscayne in Miami. It was designed by Florida artist Kim Brandel and opened in 2007. While fish love it as a new home, it also offers some advantages to human society. Cremated remains are cast into concrete memorials and placed inside the sunken graveyard, where divers and snorkelers alike can explore or visit with their past loved ones. In addition, a famed shipwreck diver, once listed as the oldest living scuba diver in the Guinness Book of World Records, is entombed here in a place of honor at the top of one of the entry columns of the reef gate. The 16-acre underwater cemetery is mainly made of concrete and bronze with steel accent. While it was designed to house the ashes of many people in the future, it was also designed to form a habitable marine environment for fish and coral to thrive, for which they have. In the end, they ended up creating a city of the dead that's both stunning and unbelievably creepy. Who knows? One society in the future could look back and wonder what in the world they were doing there. Number 7. Slender Squid. This creature is nothing short of terrifying and oddly reminiscent of the slender horrors pervading modern society. The way it floats about the water, those tendrils hanging far below its body, is enough to send chills down the bravest of spines. This creature is called the Magnapinna squid, also known as the bigfin squid. It resembles a ghastlier paranormal creature than it does sea creatures. To be fair, the distinction is a hard line to differentiate when it comes to the many bizarre creatures of the ocean. The Magnapinna squid is rarely seen, as it inhabits the deep ocean at depths of up to 15,000 feet, where sunlight never reaches. Its translucent body and ghostly appearance make it nearly invisible in the dark waters, adding to its eerie mystique. Scientists believe its long, spaghetti-like arms and tentacles, which can stretch up to 20 times the length of its body, are covered in tiny suckers to help it capture prey. Unlike most squids, the Magnapinna holds its arms at a sharp angle, creating an almost alien-like silhouette that has baffled researchers for years. The squid's slow, deliberate movements give it an otherworldly quality, as if it's gliding through the water rather than swimming. Its diet likely consists of small fish and plankton, but due to its elusive nature, much about its behavior remains a mystery. The discovery of this squid has sparked curiosity about what other strange and unknown creatures might be lurking in the unexplored depths of the ocean. It's possible humans got their inspiration for sheeted ghosts from these monsters because they can easily be mistaken as one. War of the World's death machines, anyone? It's no wonder these things evoke such dread in humans when they're reminiscent of so many things they fear. The rare film capturing of the creature gives researchers an excellent look at its long fins, which make up 90% of its body length. They used those long, tendril-like fins as a lure for prey. The largest ever discovered measured 10 feet long. Thinking the tendrils are a food source, prey swims to them and gets snatched up into the squid's mouth high above. In essence, this squid is fishing. Number 6. Bird Cage Cave. It was referred to as Nohak na Chich in Mayan, which roughly translates into giant bird cage. The easily accessible cenote is a popular diving location with certified diving guides around Cancun and Playa del Carmen. To casual snorkelers, it's part of the Yucatan's immense Sac-Acton cave system, whose complex system of tunnels stretches for more than 216 miles into the ocean and 5 miles inland. The underwater caves of ancient Maya were believed to be sacred portals leading to the underworld. As you might imagine, most of the tribe's people stayed clear of the area. Accidentally slipping and falling into the underworld was not on anyone's agenda. Archaeologists have discovered numerous artifacts within the cave system, including pottery, tools, and even human remains, suggesting that the Maya may have used the cenotes for ritual sacrifices or offerings to their gods. The crystal-clear waters of the cenote reveal stunning stalactites and stalagmites, creating an otherworldly landscape that feels frozen in time. Divers often describe the experience as surreal, as beams of sunlight penetrate the water, illuminating the intricate formations and casting eerie shadows. The caves are also home to unique species of fish and crustaceans that have adapted to the dark, oxygen-poor environment over thousands of years. However, the lack of natural light and the maze-like structure of the tunnels make it one of the most challenging and dangerous dive sites in the world. Many divers rely on guide ropes and advanced navigation equipment to ensure they can find their way back to the surface. The system has also become a hotspot for scientific research, as it offers valuable insights into the region's geology, hydrology, and ancient history. Its deepest point can be found at a location referred to as the Blue Abyss, a whopping 235-foot deep cenote. However, the system is currently entirely flooded, meaning divers need to take particular care in the pathing they choose. As complex and impressive as the tunnels might be to them, it's just as quickly dangerous, and divers might find themselves trapped easily. Number 5. Deadly Whirlpool. Any kind of diving has its fair share of dangers. Heck, anytime you get in the water, there's some level of danger. On the other hand, divers deal with the worst of the worst when it comes to the dangers of the oceans. It's one scary place to be, from dangerous creatures that live within our ocean itself. Whirlpools, deadly water vortexes, are one of the many higher-level dangers. This is why divers are urged in training to never swim into a vortex. You might think you're invincible and can escape, but the power of Mother Nature shouldn't be meddled with. These whirlpools can form suddenly, often triggered by underwater currents colliding or changes in water temperature and salinity. In some cases, they are caused by underwater topography, such as steep drop-offs or submerged caves, which create unpredictable water movements. Divers caught in a vortex can quickly lose their sense of direction, making it nearly impossible to navigate back to safety. The spinning force of the vortex can disorient even the most experienced divers, pulling them deeper into the water column. Some whirlpools are so powerful that they can drag in debris, marine life, and even small boats, making them a hazard not just for divers but for anyone in the vicinity. In rare cases, these vortexes have been known to form near shipwrecks, adding an extra layer of danger to already risky dives. Scientists are still studying the mechanics of these phenomena, hoping to better understand how and where they form to improve safety measures for divers. Until then, the best advice remains to avoid them at all costs and respect the unpredictable power of the ocean. Vortex currents are known to occur at a few diver sites around the world, yet experts know very little about them. They can form in a pattern of horizontal bubbles that snake through the water like a living creature. They move and can pull in even the strongest swimmers in the ocean. If the animals that live there even have a difficult time and avoid them, humans should too. Number 4. Giant sea cockroaches. As if they weren't bad enough on land, researchers have discovered that there are aquatic roaches as well, and to make matters worse, they're giant. All kinds of incredible discoveries are waiting in the deepest, unexplored ocean areas, and these giant roaches are one of the newest. Experts have said that the new species discovery is an indicator of just how little we know about the oceans and the world. What puzzle piece of the mystery lies waiting to be discovered down there? These giant isopods, often referred to as deep-sea roaches, are scavengers, feeding on the remains of dead marine animals that sink to the ocean floor. Their armored exoskeletons and segmented bodies make them look like something out of a sci-fi horror movie, but they play a vital role in cleaning up the deep-sea ecosystem. Interestingly, they can survive for years without food, relying on their slow metabolism to conserve energy in the nutrient-scarce depths. Some researchers believe that studying these creatures could provide insights into how life might survive in extreme environments, such as on other planets or moons. Their discovery has also sparked curiosity about what other massive, insect-like creatures might be lurking in the uncharted depths of the ocean. The sheer size of these isopods is a reminder of how little we understand about the adaptations required to survive in the crushing pressures and freezing temperatures of the deep sea. Scientists are even wondering if some of life's most outstanding questions' answers are down there as well. Just in the past few years, many new species have been reeled in from the deep ocean, including the deepest dwelling fish known to man, the hairy-chested hawk crab. The team who made the discovery says it's yet another clear example of prolific deep-sea gigantism, a scientific observation that says creatures that dwell in the deep grow much larger than their relatives in shallower waters or on land. The average isopods measure less than 10 millimeters in length, but the species of supergiant isopod genus grow to be more than 30 times larger. A terrifying notion if you think about all the other insect-like creatures scurrying through the darkness. Number 3. Creepy sculpture. Human art has only just begun to touch the bottom of the oceans. Museums around the world now host dozens of underwater aquatic exhibits where artists come and try to create an entirely new form of art. Most have taken to the seas to bring awareness to the dwindling conditions of the ocean and seek to inspire others to create and pay more attention to our life-giving pool. By using green materials, artists have found a new way to create homes for our underwater brethren. The Great Coral Reef has notably been one of the greatest impacted habitats of the ocean, and these art exhibits are seeking to offer shelter to the homeless aquatic creatures forced out from their reef. Some of these sculptures are designed to mimic natural coral formations, encouraging coral polyps to attach and grow, effectively creating artificial reefs. Others are interactive, allowing divers to swim through and explore the installations, blending art with adventure. The materials used are carefully chosen to be non-toxic and durable, ensuring they can withstand the harsh underwater environment while promoting marine life. These exhibits have also become a major draw for ecotourism, attracting divers and conservationists from around the globe. By combining art and science, these projects are not only visually stunning, but also serve as a reminder of the urgent need to protect our oceans. It didn't take the creatures long before realizing the new homes were available, and soon they were swarming with life. Dubbed the Ocean Utopia by artist Vow, he's done just that. It can be considered a work of art and an ecological project to preserve and protect the ocean. According to the artist himself, above all, it is a dream come true. Vow, the energetic 40-something sculptor famed across Asia and beyond for her lanky, faceless, and Slenderman-styled bronze characters, appears to be strolling the corners of the world, as if in a perpetual quest for meaning, much like humans do every day. Her characters are oddly seductive and alluring. Number 2. Chernobyl scuba stalkers. Their name might sound like a gang of roaming bandits that could emerge during the end days of the apocalypse, but there is an entire culture of people that have joined in on the adventure. The stalkers, as they're called, don radioactive protective gear and dive into all the mysteries that Chernobyl may yet hold. While the government certainly did their part in wiping the area clean of any evidence, the timing of the whole thing didn't leave much quality checking to be possible. Nevertheless, the stalkers hope to turn up something interesting. The long-term effects and death count of Chernobyl incidents are controversial and hard, near impossible, to quantify. The World Health Organization reported that a total of 4,000 deaths have been linked to the event, including those who died in the initial disaster and cancer cases that have developed and continued to do so. That's simply all those that have been reported. Including the numbers of the lost and unknown, the disaster was unprecedented. Most agree the number is widely underestimated and will eventually reach 100,000. As the first generation of Ukrainians born after the Chernobyl disaster aged, the small subculture of stalkers has been defying prohibitions and illegally entering the still highly radioactive exclusion zone. The group is actively monitored, tracked, and pursued by the police. Their reputation towards journalists isn't the best either. The group crosses through the forbidden, hoping to recover meaning from Soviet waste and take digital seizures to new extremes. One of the so-called stalkers was quoted about their actions. It's a post-apocalyptic romance. Number 1. Sunken cruise ship. Humans have long sailed the seas for longer than any historical recordings, so it's safe to say that somewhere out there in the vastness of the ocean, there is a treasure trove of human relics, either that or just a bunch of trash. Some ships are subject to the violence of open ocean storms and Mother Nature herself. Others fall victim to human complacency and error. The last bit falls just over the line of idiocy, and the captain's charging of 16 years in jail for his negligence is proof of that. He even turned himself in out of guilt. When you set out on a cruise liner, passengers are ready to melt away their stress and be out in the middle of nowhere to enjoy some true peace and quiet. Unfortunately, for these passengers, the captain, later referred to as Captain Coward, forced it to sink when it was entirely preventable. Convicted of multiple counts of manslaughter, he was doomed to live his life in prison for the rest of his life after causing a maritime accident. He abandoned the ship and all 4,229 people to their fates without issuing proper instructions. Among hundreds of other victims, included were a 5-year-old girl and her father, a musician who gave up his seat on a lifeboat for someone else, and a woman who died on impact after being thrown from the sinking liner into the freezing waters below. Divers were commanded into the scene in the last rescue effort. Deep-sea divers are always leading the way in ocean discoveries, and whenever they find something new, you can bet the internet is the first place to hear about it. As this list shows, the ocean will probably keep surprising us with new and unexpected things for as long as we live on this planet. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our awesome content. See you in the next video.